A panel dive into NFT utility. Moderator, Batis Samadian. Co-founder of Space, panelists Jacques Voorhees, the founder and CEO of Icecap. David Jensen, CEO at Culture Pulse. Zsolt, Oleg, Berta, founder at Monaco OG Club. So right after this panel, we'll be having lunch at the pool terrace. So when you go down at the lobby, it's like on your left side, right after this panel. All right. So do we have everyone? I think we're missing. You can get started. I'll track them down. It's DJ. I think he didn't realize. Do you all have mics?
Yeah, I think they work, right? Great. Okay. So Fidgetals, you guys are all from different kind of like industry attempts into this, which is very exciting. Fidgetals being physical plus digital. Very curious to see how you guys have approached it to date. We at Space as well are kind of like a 3D world for Fidgetals. So very excited, maybe starting with Jacques to hear from Icecap.
I was hoping you wouldn't start with me because I'm trying to climb the learning curve on what a Fidgetal is. I saw your email saying we should focus on that, and so I had to go online and do some research, and now I know all about Fidgetals. But I think I can connect maybe what we are doing with the concept of Fidgetals as I understand it. So with NFTs, and the more I talk to people about NFTs around the world, it's like what they see as an NFT and what I see as an NFT are very different things. Typically, if you ask someone that's reasonably knowledgeable about this world, they say, oh, NFTs, yeah, well, I've got this digital art, I've got these Bored Apes, I've got the, and that's great. That's this sort of digital-only world. What we're doing is very much the opposite of that. We're using NFTs as a tool to solve a problem that exists in a very, very physical world, which is the world of diamonds as a hard asset investment. And that market has always been dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. Diamonds have traditionally not been a good investment because of the structure of the market. So what we're doing is using NFTs and the technology of that to change that paradigm and basically create a different market structure that is now opening up the world for diamond investment. We're being very successful with it. Sales are going crazy. And that's a case of combining very much a digital thing, NFT, with a real world hard asset, a diamond, about as old world as you can get. They were formed 100 million years ago. So that I guess that's maybe an example of a Fidgetal, mm-hmm. a little bit. So I'll just
yeah, you're adding it on almost like a reward or membership.
It's not even that conceptual. What we're doing is we're using the NFT as a title to the diamond. So the diamond, the physical, actual diamond, goes in a vault, and the NFT, which represents title to that diamond, is then able to be traded in a virtual world frictionlessly, and that's the key, without friction. You try to trade that diamond, and you're going to be looking at 50% drops in value every time you try to make a trade, just because of the structure of the industry. Once you represent that diamond digitally, suddenly all that friction goes away, and everything the problems go away.
Okay, interesting.
I'm a real estate developer. I'm in the real estate industry for 20 years, and I'm also a consultant in many projects. And mainly, we tokenize, fractionalize real estate, and you can imagine like a luxury villa here in Rockbridge Camp Martin. It was $25 million, and we tokenize it. But we can tokenize a club membership, for example, a golf course development. And you can buy an NFT for this golf course and receive a lifelong membership and discounts for F&B services and Griffith services. But talking about the Fidgetals, I'm also consultant in Next Earth. And it's the opposite. Next Earth is the digital counterpart of the whole world, based on the Google Maps. So we digitalized the Google Maps itself, and you can buy all the lands on the earth. And
I can buy a piece of Google Map.
Yeah, 100 square meters.
Like this room I can buy.
It's sold already,
awesome.
because for Monaco it's sold. So you are late. And for example, I bought the land for our villa in Rockbridge Camp Martin, so it's mine. If you want to buy in the next turf, you can buy from me. I also bought some signature golf courses like the TPC Scottsdale, one of my favorites. And it's only one layer, the land itself, and now we build the metaverse, so the second and the third layer, the real estate, games, and to collab with real-world companies, real-world services, what are based on something what is related to Google Maps. So it's a good example for digitals.
Got it. How would you guys feel about, I guess, the way you guys are selling the value proposition to your customers about the digital copy?
It's a very good question because we are very early. So nowadays in the NFT world, there are many flippers and JPEG collectors, PFP collectors, and they want games and gambling and having fun. So they are not institutional investors yet. They are not all-star investors yet. So we have to find something they can relate with. So it's like something a game or metaverse counterpart. So for example, if we tokenize this villa, we build in Decentraland this villa itself.
Yeah.
And they can relate with this real world real estate.
Can I just follow up with a question of my own for this guy?
Yeah, please.
Okay, this kind of hits home. My daughter is in-house counsel for a company called Maxar Technologies, and they do the digital mapping all over the world. Most of the Google mapping that you see comes from Maxar. And I'm going to have a fun time telling her that people are now basically selling the virtual real estate that comes from the Google mapping that ultimately is powered by her company. And I'm wondering, I guess I need to buy the land where my actual physical house is on this so that I own it in the metaverse, not just in reality. In fact, maybe the metaverse land is more valuable than my real land. So it kind of gets hard. Yeah. Again, what we're doing is very different. We're actually we're not doing anything virtual. We're simply taking the real world diamond and using the NFT to create sort of immutable ownership of that item. And it's introduced all kinds of interesting regulatory issues. Not to bore everybody to tears with this, but it turns out there's a vast difference between whether the NFT represents title to the diamond, or, and this sounds like the same thing but isn't, or the NFT represents a claim on the diamond.
Yeah,
it's a
sure.
vastly
Very
different.
different.
Okay, so yeah, no, I guess no surprise. And if you go one way, you end up with a world of sales tax and VAT and everything. Every time the NFT trades hands, the tax authorities say, "Aha, we'll take a piece of that." If you say no, the NFT is merely a claim on the diamond. It's not the diamond itself. Then the tax people go away, they're sad, but the regulators jump in. And in the United States, that means the SEC and the is it a security, is it a commodity? Well, it's one or the other, they're gonna fight it out. So we're having to figure out, right now the best choice that we've found is to, that's it. We're gonna be using Malka Amit, and we're gonna be moving the diamonds, it looks like, knock on upholstery, to Hong Kong. Because Hong Kong is the only place that has the vaulting facilities we need for tens of millions, eventually hundreds of millions of dollars of diamonds, and has no VAT, and has no regulatory authority that would stop the NFT. So trying to do this, you create all kinds. I'd rather just live in the metaverse and and keep the lawyers out. But when you make it part of the real world, you have to deal with the real world, which sucks.
Fans of the government, and the government should be not connected.
Well, I think everyone in this room would agree with that.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
Have you guys been following kind of the revolutions in fashion happening that are affecting digitals? Some of it.
Yes, yes, it's very interesting, and I'm excited to see that because these big brands who are entering the metaverse and make counterparts of skins or variables in the metaverse, they are helping us to achieve the mass adoption, what we need in our, let's say, boring real estate business as well.
Mm-hmm. So what really fascinates me about that move is because from one side it helps fashion brands create even more of an MVP than they do with the collections they plan for seasons, because you just design the 3D product and you capture the demand. The other side that's very exciting about it is the fact that your avatar can actually wear it. And there's this huge flex culture that I believe is going to take part because of this, where my avatar in any of the worlds walking around is going to wear my Balenciaga hoodie, and it's specifically made for this drop, which I really believe that at the start of everything happening right now with Fidgetals, it's going to be very important that things are time-sensitive drops rather than just like massive collections that you can get in the real world and the virtual world simultaneously. Any comments there? Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a consultant in another business, another NFT project. We tokenize an artifact, a Greek artifact, it's 3,000 old gold mask.
Very cool.
This is the Gold Mask Society, and the concept is the same. That if you buy this NFT, you are not only the owner of this mask with fractionalized, so one part of the mask, but you receive the wearable, so you can put on this mask and enter in a metaverse.
That's amazing.
And with the Balenciaga hoodie, if you want, you know, and I don't know, going to party or something like that.
So yeah, in the world, I'm from the diamond and jewelry industry. That's where I come from, and in that world, they're going crazy with designer jewelry.
Yes.
Designer jewelry is, you know, it's a one-off piece, typically very high price point, and there's a limited market for that. But once you go into the digital world of it, there's almost no limit to what you can do with that one-off piece. So you can actually have the physical piece, and that gets sold to somebody over here. But then you could make perhaps, you know, it's like limited edition prints. Let's have 1,000 replicas of it, each with maybe a fractionalized NFT. One of the most interesting things that we're working on right now, we've been approached by the Muad Jewelry Group, which is the designer and owner of the Miss Universe crown. Oh. And they have hired us to basically, I got to use the terms correct, to fractionalize the ownership of the Miss Universe crown in a way that will...
For the Miss Universe
For the Miss
herself.
Universe.
No,
well, no, she
herself.
has the real crown. She doesn't need the fractionalized version. She's got the real thing. But we're going to fractionalize it with about 20,000 units, which means you can buy a piece of the Miss Universe crown for about $100. Mm-hmm. Who would want to do that? Well, we're asking ourselves that. And I mean, the Miss Universe organization is excited about the project. The Muads are excited about it. I'm trying to get my head around why a person wants to own 1/20,000th of a Miss Universe crown, but I think I have an idea. Imagine a guy going to his girlfriend, giving her not roses for their anniversary or for her birthday or Christmas or something, but a piece of the ownership of the Miss Universe crown. Under the claim, honey, to me, you're the real Miss Universe in my life, and here's the piece of the crown. So I don't know, for $100, you know,
that's quite cute.
I think it's cute. I think it's cute.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of those cases where the fractional ownership, if done in a right way of like revealing it, and the presentation of it in marketing form could be very exciting. There's a side of it.
Sorry, and it can be a wearable in the metaverse also, because this girl can wear
this just occurred
crown,
to me in this panel,
you know?
just hearing you talk, that another value of this is that you'd bestow on it rights to wear it in the metaverse if you owned a piece of it.
He usually charges $500 an hour for that advice.
Yeah. Do you take Bitcoin?
Okay, and another utilities.
All right.
And they can merge it with the event itself, because it could be an entrance ticket for a Miss Universe event itself.
Yeah, well, it occurred to us that if you buy enough fractionalized units, you get your photograph taken with Miss Universe.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of digital rights and content that can be thrown into it.
So there's a very interesting kind of like logistical problem with Fidgetals right now, which feel free to ask me as well questions. which is once you're selling a physical and a digital thing, there's the tradables, right, which is going back on the marketplaces. But there's also the angle that like usually with fashion goods, beauty goods, etc. There's a high return rate as well, where you want to return the goods. And this brings in kind of like complex smart contract situations where if I have the collectible and the physical, but now I don't want it and I want to return the product or I want to sell it to someone, how do I basically detach it from my identity? How do I burn that old contract? And what happens with the physical? And again, policies of like, yeah, maybe you've spilled wine on that hoodie now and stuff like that.
Is it virtual wine that you spilled, or the? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not quite understanding your question, because if it's an NFT, for example, it lives in the world of NFTs and it can be traded on NFT platforms subject to its terms and conditions, I suppose. So are there issues there, or is it just pretty much if you have something you can get rid of it?
There's kind of like this debating scenario, which is you've bought this, let's say this skateboarding brand's hoodie.
Yeah.
You have the digital collectible. It's on your avatar. You've already dressed it on him. It's rigged. And you have the real one at home. And so you've done this, but you've decided in the next 24 hours to return the product. And let's assume they have this return policy.
The physical and the
Both.
both. Oh, you
Both.
want to return both?
Well, you can't return one. That's where
I see.
that's where it becomes very interesting.
How do you connect the both?
With the smart contract, I guess.
Yeah,
I think
and then there's a very interesting topic that we've looked at in space, and there's a couple other logistics companies, which is that the physical almost works like there's like a NFC tag, and so you like basically pair it and unpair it, and so when you've made this decision, it automatically unpairs.
So, okay, and then the two are independent of each other thereafter.
Thereafter,
Right.
So that's one way, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I can't speak to that. The whole fractionalized ownership of things, where the physical world, it cannot be broken up. We cannot break up the Miss Universe crown, but you can break up the representation of the ownership of it as much as you want, which I think is what opens up some very interesting possibilities to take all physical objects and give them a second life, if you will, in that virtual world where you can do things that would eventually maybe generate more revenue than the underlying physical piece itself could.
Let's talk about the marketing of Fidgetals and the way that people are addressing it right now. There's a couple brands that are doing a pretty good job, I think, with Fidgetals so far. There's also people that are taking kind of like the because of the real world aspect, kind of like pop-ups as a way to kind of like do these drops. Have you guys seen in any of your research kind of like which of those marketing ways works the best?
Nowadays, we build community on Discord and on the socials. So the Twitter is very important in this space. It's even more important than, I don't know, Insta or others. And the Discord server is very good to engage the community. And Angel mentioned the Fat Cats. I'm also a Fat Cats holder. So I'm involved in the project of Dylan as well. The concept of this project is that the Fat Cats holders invest in other NFT projects. So we buy Bored Apes, for example, or Azukis or that type of NFTs, and we can invest in even a few hundred Ethereum worth NFTs. And this is an investment. And in order to make a good marketing, the team engage the people every day. So it's about gaming, it's about gambling, it's about engaging the community, and the community is very strong.
We're doing the opposite. We're so low tech that I'm embarrassed to even be here in this room. But We're about a year old. Our first quarter sales this year were 3.5 million. Up from $2,000 total a year prior to that. So it's growing very, very fast. And this is, again, embarrassed to admit, our customers that are buying these diamond NFTs, where the diamond goes in the vault and they have the NFT, these people don't even know how to spell NFT. They don't know what the blockchain is. They don't get any of this stuff. They are buying the underlying asset for investment, and they understand sort of vaguely that the NFTs create this immutable proof of ownership, much like a warehouse receipt does for the gold bullion that they already own and the silver bullion that they already own. So there's a Facebook meme going around that says, poorly describe what you do for a living. And I've answered that once by saying, I sell people diamonds and I keep the diamonds. And that's what we're doing, because we would normally give them the NFT, and in your world, that's what they would take. In my world, these are high net worth individuals that just want to invest in diamonds. They don't even want the NFT. They want us to custody the NFT. So we custody the diamond and we custody the NFT. We give them a bill of sales so that someone knows that they own this thing. And that's how it works. So our model is sort of opposite of what would normally be the way you'd market these things.
I'm going to close it on one thing that I think plays a pretty relative example in both your cases, because you want to see a house, you want to see a diamond. There was this famous game which did an incredible job as a marketing tool for car companies called Forza Horizon, if you're familiar with it. And what was really great about it is that cars that come on the market either the coming year or the same year were available to drive within the game. And so you had this ability to kind of like see the whole car, but also sit inside of it with the full option package and drive it. And I feel like this is something that is going to play a really big role for phygital experiences where, you want to actually play with the Rolex and actually play with the dial, or view this house that, Zaha Hadid is doing a huge job in architecture right now for NFTs. And I think that same is going to apply to fashion, etc. So I think that's kind of like the next frontier that's super important.
One thing we're doing with the diamonds, you said the customers want to see these things. Well, our customers don't really care, but we do give them a 360-degree interactive video photography of the diamond. So they can go online and with their particular NFT number, and they can physically pull up the video file, and they can move the diamond around, turn it upside down, turn it sideways. Yep. They can see it in a much better way, because a diamond is a tiny little thing. But when it's on a screen with high-resolution video photography, it's beautiful. And in fact, I would say more beautiful than it is in reality. So in some ways, they get the best of both worlds. They get to know that it's secure. And you can spin it and turn it and twist it. And, oh, yeah, I see the little imperfection. Oh, yeah, that's cool. And they get to play with their diamond online, which I think is a better way to use a diamond than to put it on a finger myself. But that's just my opinion.
The real estate market is very conservative. If we look this market here in Côte d'Azur, I receive emails from Barnes and other luxury consulting companies, and they send me a fucking PDF for worth $100 million the villa, and I receive a PDF with, I don't know, 5 or 10 pictures. Wow. And
they don't have the 360 video.
No, nothing. And we this market have to enter in Web3 and make it in Metaverse villa, and I should enter in this Metaverse villa.
Absolutely.
And see the villa itself, and engage with this villa, and have an experience in this villa, in the pool, in the wine cellar, in the bedrooms, bathrooms, and so on and so on and so on.
Very cool. Great. I really believe this is the future. Phygitals are really going to change the world. So thanks so much for your early insights.
Thank you, Batis.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you.